Hi, my darling Stephanie Way. We are live on Facebook and Instagram and in our business page. And I'm so happy to just have a conversation with you today and share you with everybody because obviously I adore you and love you and appreciate you. So let's kick it off with you just telling the world a little bit about who you are. Take us back to the beginning and yeah, let's hear about who Stephanie Way is.
Okay. So yes, I'm Stephanie Way. I've been in real estate for about 6 years, and for people who know me and personal and work, it's been like it was really stressful for most of the time. I spent a lot of time feeling like I was doing it wrong, struggling to do what I imagined real estate to be. Um, and then there was one year, 2020, I was ready to let my license expire. Didn't want to do it anymore, just fed up. And I was
How
given the
come? How come do you like what do you think was the reason you got so frustrated in the industry? Like what was it that made you think like I'm done, I'm mad, I don't want to be a part of this industry anymore? Do you remember like what that was that caused you to feel that way?
I didn't I didn't have that like clarity then. I have it now. Is just because I was just like trying to show up in the way that I thought everybody wanted me to, showing up for any and all clients, doing all types of transactions. Just I was just stuck in the mud and spinning wheels, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was miserable doing it. Wasn't helping the people I wanted to help, just was getting nowhere, and I was truly exhausted, where it was just so hard to show up.
Yeah, I mean, real estate, I think, is an industry where there isn't enough conversation about how difficult it is and how all encompassing it is and how much you have to pour into people and find solutions and deal with stress. And there's really no boundary of when people can reach you and how. Um, and it's it can be difficult, and at that time I sort of remember you trying to navigate the waters and me being like, no, you're so good, you have to stick with it. So what shifted? So it was 2020, you're like, I'm ready to let my license expire. You were, which I found out much later, going to go back to school, right? Or did you
I
enroll?
did actually. I took online courses and finished my education degree, because I had already started it. And when I signed up for the courses, she was like, "Why would you start over? Like, let's just get this degree for you, and then you can do what you want with it." Because I love children, like I love teaching them, being with them. So I was like, maybe that is where I'm just meant to go, because this really just sucks. Like that's how I felt. I didn't want to show up anymore. Um, and then you provided me with a different opportunity so I could see real estate in a completely different light. It changed my perspective entirely. Because I changed a couple offices, and because I thought I was seeking something, and I realized that the problem was with me. What I was seeking just didn't align with me, and I was forced to face that every day. So after working on in the back lines and seeing this new like real estate in a completely different light, as
Let's talk
I
about what you did. So we pulled you out of production,
yeah.
right? And put you in a role as, you can elaborate, and how that
um
eventually taught you that you wanted to stay in the industry.
okay, so it was like I to identify it, it was transaction coordinator. But to me, really, I think I was just showing up to help you. I wasn't like your assistant or doing anything else. It was just helping you. That's how I'm like Lindsay's facilitator is how I felt through that time.
So much more than
um but like, because the paperwork side was the things that I was good at. um and but as I watched the communication and the transactions and the people and the busyness, I realized like how many people like you were just attracting by being you. And to watch those from beginning to end, like real estate's never easy. Like it's always stressful. Doesn't matter, first time home buyer, investor, selling, whatever, it's stressful. But when you're like aligned with the people that want to work with you and the people you want to work with, the whole thing just feels different. And
Yeah, and I think that's something that you became really clear on, right? We're talking about clarity and your quest for clarity, and everybody who's around you has seen you morph and become this person that when you walked in, you just weren't. Um, but I think you and I feel like when agents shadow me, they're like, "Oh, you're just you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's who you need to be, because when you're just you, you don't have to try and pretend to be anybody other than you, because you say you didn't feel aligned with yourself because maybe you had an idea of the way it was supposed to be or the way you're supposed to act. But as soon as you realize you is enough, then you show up like as yourself. And like who Stephanie Way is such an amazing, like, I think of you as a leader. Obviously, you are a leader on the team now, but I think just your time going through the transactional process and understanding it from start to finish, which you already knew, but seeing it can be very authentic you, I think maybe shifted your mindset on the way it needed to be, and more
yeah.
about like, this is who I am. And this is, and you also got really sort of clear on the type of agent you want to work and the type of client you want to work with also, right? Who is that
Yeah.
ideal client for you?
So yeah, I'll get to that. Just like leading in from what you just said was like after I decided to go back into production, more or less just because like the 9 to 5 was really hard with my life, and or I got used to not doing a 9 to 5 before that. I tried some different avenues. We had team coaching, and I signed up for coaching for myself. And the result from like all the conversations I had, that's where the piece came, where like for some reason I was just like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm supposed to do it. But they opened my eyes to be like, if you're doing it not for you, it's not going to work. So I started doing a lot of work on like, okay, then who am I? Like always afraid of not being enough and or not being professional, not knowing enough. I finally just embraced it and started to pay attention every day. Like what do I want to do today? Like what feels good? What's going to help me? Who do I like working with? And creating the kind that I love working with. Um, Around November when I re-identified with I think I'm really good at like there's like hand holding, talking through an emotional situation, or like first time home buyer who like this is the biggest investment they're gonna make and they're so excited for this house to grow their family in. And I really love like the emotional side of it and letting them lean on me and talk through all the stresses. And like I said, it's not going to be easy, but at least at the end of the day, maybe we've had a few laughs, or I can just take some of the pressure off if, just being there every step of the way is like what makes me feel good at the end of the transaction.
Yeah. So what it is, so we focused, I feel like we focused a lot on the team, on personal growth and personal development. And we went into 2021, I guess, really focused on like becoming the best version of ourselves. And as a team, we've collectively done that. Is there something, and we've talked a lot about this too recently, is there something that you are personally chasing for yourself or your family? Obviously, you have an amazing daughter, Charlie. What is your thing? What is, what is the one thing that's going to change your life or move you in a way that you feel like you just got to go after it? Is that clearly defined for you?
A little
You're frozen. Steph.
Well,
Technical difficulties. We will be right back.
it's way brighter in here.
We're back. Okay, technical difficulties. Now we're just going to talk together,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So, what is your one thing? What is a thing that you, through your process of getting clear, have found to be what you're ultimately chasing? Like all the transactions you're trying to, close and everything you're trying to do professionally, what would that do for you personally?
It's the freedom that I'm seeking. It's financial freedom, freedom of time. I want to be able to just like say, hey, I want to go to this place this weekend and not have that stress and worry about, week to week, month to month, just seeking freedom for all the good things that life has to offer.
I know one of your big goals is taking Charlie to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Why and what would that vacation mean to you?
Hawaii has always been my number one bucket list place to travel. I've just always been attracted to it, and it's still very important for me to get there. It was on the agenda last year, didn't work out. I had something scheduled this year, again, just didn't quite feel right. But knowing that I could buy those plane tickets meant the world to me. Just that independence, doing it on my own. Never been there before, so financially and Hawaii, but it's just I will get there, but now I know that it's within my grasp.
You paid, I remember when we were in Texas in the Uber, you said that you paid off all your debt in 2020, 2021.
It wasn't 1 year that I did that, but over the course of a couple of years, I paid off my student loans, I paid off all credit card debts, paid off my car. And this year, while traveling is the number one goal, number two is to pay off my mortgage, which I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to being able to do already.
So people that are watching who maybe are struggling in real estate or struggling to get clarity, what do you think are some of the struggles that you overcame to ultimately get to where you are? Because I remember when we first met, we sat at a coffee shop in downtown New Paltz, and I didn't know Stephanie at all. And she had 3 jobs at the time. She was a real estate agent, she was doing hair, and she was a bartender. And I looked her in the eyes, and what did I say?
Burn the boat.
Burn the boat. Like, light it on fire with gasoline. I'll bring the gasoline. And it was time to just release all of the things that were holding her back, which is what we try and do here on a daily basis, just unshackle ourselves as the best person we can show up as. What do you think some of the struggles were? They were like, you knew what they were, you overcame them anyway, and made you, stronger and brought you to the other side?
I got super clear on just like spending money in general. That was my first obstacle, was like, when you live in like the restaurant world, it's so hard to still like live within your means. So I think even though it was a good money, I was still struggling. So I just got super clear on like what the long-term goals were. Did it make sense to spend my money on this? How can I just live more? I don't know. What's the word?
Simply.
I guess, yeah, simple. It's just simplified everything.
What are your goals for 2022?
I want to help 42 people in their goals of home ownership.
What is that? I feel like you're a lot like me, very passionate, and you lead with your heart. What does real estate mean to you? Like the transactional process, what does it mean to you?
I don't know. I think honestly, when I started to feel better about every transaction, it's because I completely removed myself from it. I started to think like when clients were sending me the homes they wanted to see, or just so much about it, I just sat back and said like, well, what do they need? What is their goal? Like they're entrusting me. So I have to take myself out of it. It's okay that I'm about to show you 50 houses in the next week or go on virtual tours and just make sure you're getting in front of all the houses you want to be. I just had to completely remove myself. Like I can't think about the closing table. Don't think about the commission. It's like, what does this person need and why did they entrust me to get them there?
Putting them first. And I think where a lot of agents struggle is they put themselves first and their commission check first. And as soon as you do that, I think your ability to scale in the business and your ability to truly like build a business diminishes greatly. It's always about what value can we add and how can we help, and getting them ultimately to where they need to be, right? Which is the closing table. And especially in a market like this, it's hard. We got to have these conversations like, this is going to suck. This is really hard. It's competitive. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to help you. But I've watched you just change and morph and show up totally different. I mean, I appreciate you more than you know. We gave Stephanie the Metamorphosis of the Butterfly Award at our holiday party because the little weak, quiet person she walked in as in 2017 is no longer. So we've seen her just completely transform her life, get crystal clear on her goals, get clarity, almost leave the business, and then figure out that she ultimately loved the business, but how to do it in a way where it felt authentic to her, right?
It's very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
And don't try and be anybody else. Just be you, right? There's only one you. What's one piece of advice you can give to somebody who's struggling in the business, who's thinking about getting into the business, who's seasoned in the business? What do you think is like the one thing that helped you get to where you're at?
It's clarity. Like I hate to be redundant, but just be super clear about what your goals are, who you want to help. Just have it all written down, make it real, get it out of your head and onto paper. Just be clear about who you want to help, what your strengths are, and who you are, because that's how you're going to show up for other people.
I love it. Stephanie Way, the most amazing realtor on the planet, on the quest for clarity and her trip to Hawaii. Hit her up. What's the best way to find you?
I'm a texter, my cell phone.
What's your cell phone number?
It's 914-475-9883.
I appreciate you. Good job.